Hey guys, so I'm really excited about this one. It's been a while since we've spoken to this guy, so this player. So we've been trying to get him on the show for quite some time and find a time that suits us both because we've both been extremely busy. Games, of course, that have been covered. There was a lot of preview shows, review shows, everything that was happening on Cricket Fanatics Mag as well. But this guy's schedule has been jam packed since he came back into the country. So it's been quite a interesting wait, but it's finally here and we've got him. You guys have asked for him and I've brought him to the show. So today we're going to be interviewing David Bedingham. It's not an interview, it's more of a conversation. You'll see that by the way we converse and by the way we chat to each other. We're going to go into a little bit of his history and his journey to that Proteas debut, and also just get some thoughts about him, his playing style, his mentality, etc. That's all going to be on today's show. So buckle up, guys. It's going to be an interesting one. But before we get going, before we get started, there's a couple of things I'd like you guys to please do. First and foremost, subscribe to the channel, click that notification bell for all future videos. We also recently launched the SA20 edition of the magazine, so please go and get that. The current game is still on hold. It's raining in Kabeja, so we're waiting for that to start over there. But click on the link on the screen or in the description to get your free copy and free edition, free subscription. You'll get every single issue 100% free straight to your inbox every single month. We've also launched something very exciting, and that is the Cricket Fanatics Magazine Business Corner. So if you have a business and you're an entrepreneur, if you have a cricket store, if you're a coach, if you're a psychologist, whatever the case may be, if you want to market your business to a cricket audience or your products to a cricket audience effectively and affordably, we are the only viable option for you. Link is on the screen as well as in the description. Go and check that out straight away. So without further ado, I don't want to waste any more time. Let's get straight into today's video. I'm looking forward to this one, guys. A very good evening and welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. And this is your exclusive interview with David Bedingham. I'm your host, Khalid Moedin, and today I'm joined by David Bedingham, of course. First and foremost, welcome to the show, David. It's been a while since you've been on here. How are you doing? How are you feeling after quite a busy schedule recently?
Thanks for having me. I know we've been trying for about a month or so I'm glad we've both got time eventually. I'm good. I've actually just flown back to the UK for like 8 days to see my puppy and my missus. And as you can see, the lights on, it's dark, the hoodie's on, it's freezing here. So it's a bit of a change, but it's good to be back home, as you can say, because it's been hot in Cape Town. So it's nice to have a bit of cold. But I'm only here for 8 days. So hopefully I can just chill out nicely, enjoy my time, and then fly back.
Yeah, it's always good to be able to clear your mind, of course. I know that some people, we always need that as human beings in this crazy world we live in. David, I just want to get into a little bit of a start of your career because I want to kind of track your journey to the Proteas. I mean, we've been in contact right through it almost. So, let me get into your mind of how things started for you, how you were introduced to cricket, and then tell me about that moment when you decided, you know what, I want to be a professional cricketer.
Well, I think it all started with me and my brother in the backyard. I think he was a year older than me. So it almost was good for like competition, I'd say. I always thought he was bigger and stronger than me, so he'd usually beat me, which made us both very competitive. Then we both went to Wynberg Boys, which is obviously quite a big cricketing school. And as you play under 14, under 15A and stuff like that, you get introduced to trials. And I was lucky enough to be involved in the age groups from under 13 to Coke Week. Yeah, and that went quite well. I had a couple decent Coke Weeks, which at the end of it all, I made the SA Cold side. And then straight from that, made the SA under 19 side. And we played a series against England. which in the Test series I think we drew 1-1, and in the one days I think we beat them 5-0. So that was a really good experience. I did decently in both the series, which then got me invited to amateur cricket, which was the first time I ever played against men. And I didn't realize how hard playing against men was, because when you play against guys your own age, you're usually similar, if not a bit stronger, if not a bit more streetwise. But when you come against men, they're stronger than you, they're more experienced than you, and I definitely took a while to adjust. I really struggled. I'm going to say I struggled for like 2 or 3 years. But yeah, that was like the toughest part of my cricket, I reckon. Then I went to Marty's, I started studying, started really enjoying my cricket again, and then slowly made my way into the Boerland side, and that went well. Yeah, and then obviously had the accident, a year off cricket, and then started to score lots of runs, and then got approached by Ashwell to have a net with the Cobras, and I was very lucky that day. I swear those nets have never been so flat, and you watch my whole watch my whole net session, and I reckon it was the best net I had. And straight off that session, maybe a couple of days later, he called me and offered me my first Cobras contract.
That's excellent. Like you spoke about the accident, you've spoken about it so many times. We have a feature in the previous magazine that's from Chris Juanza, who spoke to you as well and interviewed you about that in depth. So you guys can go read that if you want to learn a little bit more about that. Would you say that particular moment, how did that affect your mental strength, and did it have an effect on your strength, on your mental strength going forward, and how did you add that into your cricket game? Did it affect your cricket game in any way, from a performance perspective, from a mental side of the game? Did it toughen you up a bit, or what was that phase or that transition from that period into where you are now?
Well, I think before the accident, I was doing okay at cricket. I'm not going to say I wasn't scoring loads of runs, but I think before the accident, I was probably putting a lot of pressure on myself. So I thought cricket was like the be all and end all of life, and I trained really hard. I gymmed really hard, but like when it came down to the actual match, I put so much pressure on myself because I thought it was so important to score runs that like whenever I failed, it was like a massive part of my life. And I think that all got to me mentally, like almost to the stage where I almost quit, I reckon, because I mean, if you continue to fail and continue to sulk and put pressure on yourself, I think it's a really tough spot to be in. But then I had the accident, and that kind of put everything into perspective, I'd say. Like after the accident, I realized I wasn't lucky to live, but I was lucky to still be able to enjoy the game I've played my whole life. So like I took the approach of rather just enjoy it, and if I score runs, I score runs. And then sort of it kind of started happening, and then that was almost my link to like my mental space, where I think I play my best when I'm enjoying it rather than always wanting to score runs, because I know cricket's my job and cricket is your job as well, but I think there's a lot bigger issues than just cricket. So like as soon as I put that into perspective, I think scoring runs and enjoying my game came a lot easier.
I'm finding that enjoyment is important. That's actually a good lesson for me to take as well, because you do I do these streams every single day, and there will be times where it flies and there will be time where it's dipping, and then you have to still continue. So I get that. And in cricket, we know from talking to many people that you fail more than you succeed in this game. And that's what makes this game so mentally grueling, I would say. So
Yeah.
let's go on to that moment with Ashwell Prince. I want to hear, because now he's obviously the batting coach or the batting consultant with the Proteas. But I want to know what you learned from him, and what made him a special coach for you. From from every aspect of the game. Where did he improve you as a player, would you say?
Well, I think all my coaches were really good in the sense where they knew I was an aggressive player, so they knew that sometimes when I got out, I don't think it would look great. But I think Ashwell definitely instilled in me that he said that you've got to this level by playing this way. You've done well playing this way, so why must you get to maybe a step higher and then change the way you play? So he definitely helped me with that. He just said that I understand your game, so if you block and get out, I'd probably be more upset in that way rather than when you're attacking. So he basically just gave me a lot of confidence to play my way. And basically, I think even moving on to the Proteas, he said exactly the same thing. Because I feel when I'm cautious about my game and when I'm thinking about my technique and stuff like that, I start struggling, I think. So he basically gave me the tools and spoke to me about just like really having a free mind. And I think that really, really helped me.
Okay, awesome. So when you talk about having a free mind, what exactly does that mean? Like, where do you put your focus on in the middle when you're out there in the middle and the pressure's on?
No, I think I'm always looking to score, and a lot of the time when people maybe, including myself at times, when you maybe in a new team or in a new environment or going up a level, I think a lot of the times you feel like you can't play that same way. And I think that if I'm thinking about, I don't know, if I'm thinking about defending when that's usually not my game, then I think that clogs my mind a bit. And then when I see a bad ball, when I'm in a good frame of mind, I hit it. And if I'm thinking defensively and stuff like that, I'll probably nick it. So like Ashwell definitely gave me the confidence to go out and play my way. So if it's a bad ball, the first ball of the game, I'll smack it rather than thinking, oh, because it's the first ball, I need to leave it or I need to block it. So I think he definitely gave me clarity in that role, which helped me even coming into the Proteas and going to Durham and stuff like that. Because you play in different teams and you play in different environments, and that's sometimes the hardest thing to adjust. You don't often adjust your game, but the tough part is meeting new people and trying to be the same person around everyone. Because I think if you go into different environments, it's quite a lot of the time for not even younger players, for newer players, it's really hard to be yourself. And I think going into that environment with Ashwell, he definitely gave me the tools and the confidence to just be myself if I'm playing cricket and being myself when I'm around the guys not playing cricket.
Okay, that's awesome. Okay, cool. So let's go into the Durham move because a lot happened in that period.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a lot of conversations over that period about the possibility of you maybe playing for England and then maybe if you were still wanted to play for South Africa, and there was a lot of rumors going around, a lot of fake
Yeah.
stories, a lot of true stories,
Yeah.
all about you and your situation and where you were at. So talk to me about Durham first and foremost, and we'll get into the other questions later. But what did you learn from going there? What has that experience been like? Because for most of us as fans sitting on the outside, it's almost like you just fitted in like a glove and just started scoring major runs. So can you talk to me about that transition, what you've learned there, the coaching, how it's different to South Africa, the mentalities of players and strategies compared to South Africa, and what the difference is?
Well, moving over there was a big risk, I think. I think I only signed like a 6-month contract. So I think I was quite secure in having a job at the Cobras. I don't think they would have let me go. So moving to Durham was a massive risk. Um, but I back my game enough to know that even if I'm going into a new environment, new conditions, that I backed myself that I thought I'd score runs to sustain a living in England, obviously. Going into the team, it was quite tough because everyone's very different from the north compared to Cape Town. I think they're very honest. I'm not saying Cape Town people aren't honest. I'm just saying they're very honest, hardworking people. And I think when it came to cricket, I expected to come to England and the environment being drink a couple beers, play some cricket, win, lose, enjoy it. But when I got here in February, I've never seen people work as hard as the Durham team. And I almost got drawn into that environment, which is a good thing. I think maybe in Cape Town I would hit a lot of balls, but probably not run as hard, probably not field as much as I should. So coming into the Durham environment where they worked really, really hard was, I think, crucial. Playing my first game for Durham, very, very different. I think it was a COVID year, but the first game was in August. And it's supposed to be hot in England then, but it was freezing cold. It was overcast. The wicket looked like grass, like very, very green, with a lot of movement. But as you speak to people and learn a bit more, you start adjusting. And I think maybe it took me 5 games to adjust, and that was the whole season. So then I ended up spending a whole season in England, working hard with the Duke's ball, which is different. And then I don't know what happened. 2021 was a special season. I think the first game against Notts, I think I got a 50 in the first innings and 180 not out in the second. And that just gave me like confidence to go out and play that way for a whole season. And I think it's different in England where you play game after game after game. So if you're in good form, you can't wait for the next game to come. Where in South Africa, you play a couple games and then you might get like a month off, and then you play the next month again. So I think that's the cool thing about England, is that you continuously play. And I think you learn a lot more by playing than rather training all the time. So hopefully in South Africa, things will change and we have less breaks and more games, because I think you grow a lot more as a player when you're playing.
Yeah, it must be difficult for us as well with the 4-day. There's a massive gap between the first half of the 4-day competition and then the end of it, almost like there's a white ball games in between. So that can be quite tricky. When it comes to your decision, to play for South Africa, etc. I mean, we know how difficult it must have been in that period when the SAA teams were getting picked and your name wasn't in it. Can you talk me through that period of what that was like? And then when you got that call from Coach Shukri, was it a call, an unknown call, or did you have some conversations with him leading up to the call to say that you're in a squad?
Well, I think as I reflect back to I think it was 2022, when there was questions about why am I not playing SAA, or am I playing for England, or am I trying to qualify for England, etc., etc. I almost reflected, and I wish things could have gone a bit differently, because I don't think there was enough chat between, let's say, and I don't think that they were wrong by not chatting to me. I just wish we had better chat about, Dave, what are your plans? Are you staying that side, or do you want to play for South Africa? So I think there's a lot of confusion going on about that. So I wish it could have played out a bit differently. And then myself and whoever was in charge would have had a lot more clarity around what's happening. And I don't blame anyone. It's partially my fault, probably partially theirs. But again, those type of things aren't great for anyone. But I'm a massive thing is like whatever. What's the saying? Whatever doesn't break you makes you stronger. So I think that that part of my life was tough and stuff. But that's also partially my fault. So I went back to England again, scored more runs, became a better player. And then Shooks, I think, called me in August about the New Zealand series, saying that, look, there's a massive chance that you'll be in the New Zealand series, obviously because of the SA20 and missing a lot of players. So as soon as he called me there, I said, okay, well, I'd rather play Test cricket than maybe playing in the SA20. I wasn't 100% going to get picked. I'm not sure, but I knew that I trusted Shooks, and that if he said that if I don't put my name in the hat, I'll be on the tour and possibly play, then I'll rather have that option, because I think Test cricket is special to me and to a lot of people.
Well done.
Yeah. So when he gave me that call, I was very special. I told my missus and my family straight away, even though he said I mustn't. But I was like very excited, obviously. And then played the SA. I got picked in the SAA side, which I was expecting because he said he said it would kind of be like the New Zealand squad. So I was expecting to get picked in that, but that was really cool. Didn't score as many runs as I wanted to, but I did feel good in the group and I did feel comfortable while batting. I just didn't score runs, unfortunately. And then the moment he said that I'd be in the India squad was a very proud moment. I think we were playing, I was 12th man at East London, and he called me in the room, shook my hand and said, "Well done, you're in the India squad." And I thought he was joking at first. But it's a very, very special moment. He said I could tell my parents, obviously, and stuff like that, which I did straight away. Just very special moments. As I said, I think playing in New Zealand would have been special. But playing a test series against India, the best side in the world, at Pretoria and then Newlands was very, very special, yeah.
Yeah, let's start with that Pretoria test. I mean, we obviously know you scored a half century, and it was brilliant to be able to witness you walk out to the middle and finally see that happen. Because I mean, we've been speaking about possibilities of you playing for South Africa for a while, and to finally see it happen as a fan of yours for a very long time. I think it was also a proud moment for a lot of fans that are in your corner. So talk me through that debut, what it's like to play against that in India lineup. I mean, you've got the likes of Bumrah and Siraj, and the wicket wasn't necessarily the usual Centurion wicket. So like talk me through that innings and what it was like also batting out there. Dean Elgar in the changing room, what that feeling was like. Just take me through it. I want to be a fly on your wall.
Well, I think firstly, when we won the toss and bowled, I was so happy because I think I was more nervous for the fielding part because it was the first time I was on the field compared to the batting. So obviously very nervous while fielding, and then very nervous when next into bat, and then obviously walk into bat in quite a good position, but also like so nervous that I can't actually enjoy walking out there and just experiencing the whole crowd and the atmosphere. Which probably put me in the zone even more. And I'm not gonna lie, all I was thinking at the first ball or the second ball was just like, don't score a duck. And I was quite lucky enough to like not nick the ball, but kind of like hit the outside half of the bat and went for 4. And then as soon as that happened, I was like, okay, at least it wasn't a duck. So now I can really just not chill, but just try and enjoy the whole experience, which I really did. Obviously a step up in bowlers and the pitch was quite tricky, but it was so cool to face Bumrah, Siraj and all those guys, because if you can do it against them on a tricky surface, you know that you can probably do it against most attacks, which was quite a cool feeling in that test, saying, I know I'm nervous, I know it's my first game, but hopefully this will give me enough confidence to go on and play hopefully lots of tests and score lots of runs for South Africa.
Mm-hmm. And that second test, of course, we all know 1.5 days is just like a record fastest test. Like we know that Newlands just got a demerit point from the ICC because of the surface, and a lot of us were confused about the wicket because I've watched quite a few 4-day games on that ground, and it seemed very different to what it normally is. How I know it's might seem obvious now in hindsight, but when you guys looked at the wicket and you saw it, did you think that it would play the way it did?
Not at all. I think everyone that was there looking at the pitch, everyone said because it's so hot and because the sun's out, everyone was just like, we have to bat. And I think India, if they had won the toss, would have batted. Everyone in our team was clear about batting. I'm pretty sure, I don't think I watched the toss or the preview before the toss, but I'm pretty sure the guys commenting on the wicket would have said bat as well. So it didn't look, it looked green, and everyone knew it would be tough in the first couple of days. But obviously, from my experience playing in Newlands, it's a very slow wicket on day 1 and 2 with a decent amount of movement. And then going into late day 2, 3, the wicket gets quicker, but it's less movement. And unfortunately, the wicket was very quick on day one with up and down bounce, obviously, and sideways movement. So from that point of view, obviously, it wasn't great. But I saw a picture, and the groundsman showed me a picture of this test wicket compared to the last test wicket against India as well, which ended up being a great test match wicket. And it looked almost identical, maybe just a bit greener. And it was hot. So I'm guessing he was just nervous that he didn't want it to crack up. So I think a lot's been said about the groundsman and the pitch and stuff. But for the times that I've been at Province, I think he's been there for 3 years. He's made great wickets. So I think for everyone to say that he's a bad groundsman is just wrong. Everyone can make a mistake or two. And yeah, I think it was obviously unfortunate because the test was so cool. The test series was so cool, and for us to be talking about the pitch is sad. We should be speaking about Siraj's fifer, Bumrah's fifer. We should be speaking about the 6 wickets for 0 runs. But unfortunately, a lot of people in the world, I think, are negative and only speak about Brahm made a massive mistake. But like, he definitely didn't mean it. He definitely didn't mean to dock the pitch on purpose. It's it was just a mistake. So yeah, unfortunate, but is what it is.
Yeah, because at
least we got 3 days off.
Yeah, and at least India didn't win for the first time in South Africa's history.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's a throw over there. So let me get into some of the questions just before you. I know you have to leave soon, but there are some questions here from the fans, and I'd just like to read them out to you.
Okay.
Dick says, "Hi, great 50 on debut. Could you tell me what went wrong on the second test in the second innings? Would have loved to see you score 50 on that wicket with Aiden, and your thoughts on the New Zealand tour."
Well, I tried to score 50 in the second test. I felt good. I maybe just played a bad shot, unfortunately. And those things happen. My thoughts on New Zealand is that I can't wait. It's another great opportunity for all the new guys, all the guys that have been around for a while and haven't played that much. I think it's an exciting tour, and hopefully we can all do our country proud.
Berger wants to know, David, what was the message given to you by Dean when you went out to bat? Plus, why did you change your mind returning to South Africa? Good decision.
What did Dean say? He said a couple corny phrases, actually. He said, play straight, be great, and play late, be great. He was very serious at times, but at the end of every serious chat was like a joke, and that put me at ease. Because I think I'm quite a chilled guy, so I don't want to like be told, look, don't do this, don't do that. And he was really good at mixing his comments to make me feel comfortable. And why did it change my mind? I was always returning. It was just whether I was going to play as a local in England, which I've never ever been. My goal is still to get a passport and eventually maybe live or work in England, and that's not to do with cricket at all. But I was always going to return to South Africa. Just last year, I had surgery on both shoulders, so I was doing rehab in England.
Okay, Berger wants to know, have you ever been to New Zealand before? What result are you hoping for both as a player and a team?
First time in New Zealand. I've heard it's a lovely country and very nice people, so I can't wait. Yeah. And obviously we going there to win. I don't think it's worth flying 26 hours across the world to just turn up and lose. So I mean, obviously it'll be tough, but we've got guys that have been scoring a lot of first-class runs and taking a lot of first-class wickets for a long time. So obviously it's a step up against a very good team. But yeah, I'm very confident that we can show fight and hopefully win the series. And as a player, hopefully just win a game or two for South Africa by scoring runs, and taking catches.
Cool. David, I'm sure that you will consolidate a regular place in the SA team going forward. Do you think that you can also continue playing county cricket for Durham?
Well, definitely for the next 2 years. So if I continue to play for South Africa, I think during the England summer, I think there's only a test series in the West Indies in August. And then the next season in 2025, I think there's only a test series in Zimbabwe in June. So if I'm picked in those, I'll miss maybe a couple games for Durham, but I don't think it will be the end of the world. I think playing a lot of red ball cricket for Durham is important for them and for me. So hopefully that can continue.
Okay, then so the final two, I got Excel Corporation here. We are saying you deserve to be in the ODI and T20, seeing your batting style, love from India. And then Lawrence Bailey says, David, how do you think county cricket has shaped you as a batter? And do you see yourself moving up the order in the near future?
How's it shaped me as a batter? I think I still play the same ways, but I think in South Africa, I didn't. I was getting out bowled, LBW, and caught. So I think how I try to minimize the ways I got out in England was, I said I was okay getting out nicked off, but what I really valued was not missing balls on my stumps. So I think the more ways you can minimize not getting out, I think is important. So I think in the county circuit, I hardly get out LB, and if I get out nicking off, I'm okay with that because it's probably just a bad judgment which happens, or it's just a good ball which I can live with. Do I see myself moving up the order in the near future? I honestly don't mind. I back myself if I'm opening, batting 4, 5, 6. I'll just be happy to be playing for South Africa, and if that's as an opener or number 6, I would take the opportunity with both hands, hopefully.
There's two more questions. One from Kyle Naidu. Hi, David. Knowing the squad is going to New Zealand is very inexperienced, will you be playing a more senior player role, maybe vice captain?
I don't think so. I'm just going to go there, enjoy myself, and hopefully win games for the country. If anyone asks for advice, I'll give it. But no, I don't think I'll be vice captain.
Do you mind taking 3 more? 2 more or 3 more?
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
It's fine.
Okay. Okay, Dex, do you think Aiden should move up or down the order? I don't know why you're asking, David, but okay. Test cricket.
I think Aiden
move down the order. Sorry, you can't move anymore up.
Yeah, I think Aiden could bat open. I think he could bat 3, 4, 5. I think he's that good. But I think he enjoys opening, and I think he does well as an opener. I think to score 100 at Newlands on that type of pitch was special. I think he could bat anyway, but I think he really enjoys opening. So I think he'll probably stay there. But it's up to him. It's completely up to him.
Yeah. Macmillan says, David, who did you look up to? Oh, sorry. Who did you look up to as an influence growing up, and who did you mold your style and technique on?
Well, being from Waimu Boys, I tried to copy Cullis, but I still feel that him and myself were pretty different players. So I tended to be more attacking. So I really enjoyed Herschel Gibbs. And then, as I said in a previous interview, I think when that stopped working, I honestly really enjoyed watching Coetzee and Sharma bat. So I tried to mold my technique on theirs. Often didn't work, and eventually just found what works for me. But those are probably the 4 guys I really respected, especially Cullis because I was younger, and Gibbs because I was younger. And then as I became maybe a professional, I really respected Sharma and Coetzee.
Well, seeing that you played against them, did you get to speak to them at all, Coetzee and Sharma? Did you have any conversations with them?
Not really. I know at the end of the second test was quite cool. I mean, the end of the first test quite cool. Coetzee said, well batted youngster. It was a pleasure to watch. So I wanted to tell him that I'm 29 and not really a youngster, but thank you. So yeah, it was quite special of a guy of that stature to tell me well batted. So yeah, it was quite cool.
Okay. Lorenzo says, hi, David. Do you see yourself as an ODI cricketer as well? I personally think you'd be perfect for the ODI cricket, actually.
Well, yeah, I think I'd love to. I'm not saying no. But yeah, I think I've done decently in list A stuff over the last 3 years. So if that eventually happens, I'll try my best to score runs and score runs quickly with a smile on my face. But yeah, I'd like to see myself as a ODI player as well. But yeah, we'll have to see.
And then Chatil says difference between county cricket and South African domestic cricket. That's always a question that pops up.
Yeah, everyone asks me what's harder, and I can't answer that because it's completely different. I think in South Africa the pitches are a lot quicker and bouncier, so the fast bowlers are more effective. Where in England, I think the slower guys who swing the ball and nip the ball and stuff like that are a lot more effective. So I don't know what's harder, but I do know that they both have their challenges. Yeah, I'm not sure. Pitches in county cricket are a lot slower. That's all I know. Yeah.
Awesome. I have to tell you this. Read the comment. The day that this news broke, etc., right, on this channel, the guys were going insane in the live chat, and it was like, I couldn't do anything about it. It's almost like they were blaming me. Some people, not Lorenzo himself, but some of them were like, "Why is he going?" Like I had to have all the answers, but I mean, we had the conversation. I brought the interview to them, so that it cleared it up. But people still thought I was lying when I said that you said what you said. You said you still wanted to play for South Africa, and they thought I was telling a whole lot of lies. So it's good that you came on today to clear up that situation as well.
Things like that are a massive reason I'll never get Twitter ever, because I just friends always tell me what goes on there. I'm saying thank goodness I'm not on Twitter, because the amount of abuse guys get and the amount of praise guys get that sometimes is right and sometimes is wrong is so much. So I'm glad I'm not on Twitter.
This the final one over here from Chatil. He says, I've heard that county cricket is basically 24/7, traveling around England and playing cricket 5 days a week, living out of a suitcase. Is that true?
So I don't think living out the suitcase is right, but I know for a fact that the schedules come out maybe a month ago, and the first 7 games of the season, or the first 7 weeks of the season, we're playing 7 first-class games. So you are traveling a lot, you are playing a lot. It's good for us batters, I think, but very, very tough on the bowlers. But I generally think playing more cricket is more important than playing less cricket and training, because I think you learn a lot more when playing cricket.
Okay, David. There are going to be more questions coming through, but I promised you that we'll do this for till this time. Thank you for giving me an extra time. To all the guys out there, thanks a lot for joining the show. David, thanks a lot for coming on. Everybody, you know all the cues at the beginning of the show, but enjoy the rest of your evening. I hope you guys enjoy. If there is any SEC game, or if that still happens, then I hope you enjoy the SC20. David, thanks a lot for joining, and I'll see everybody very, very soon. Take care, everyone. Peace out.